pretty big move already. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over my my basic trade setup, and for anybody that doesn't know it, or I'm a scalper. I trade price action with moving averages. Primarily, I trade from the I trade within big numbers, 0, 25, 50, and 75. As you can see them on my 5-minute chart. My ideal my ideal trade is to get in another trade with within 1 minute to 10 minutes, with anywhere from 5 to 15 pips, with a an average 15 pip stop loss. So that's I trade primarily breaks of the 10. So I trade what I call the FX plan, which is a 1030 EMA moving average. So the red one here is my 10. Oh, pardon me? And the gold line here is my 30, and the mauve line is the 50. So I can primarily see which way the trend is going, and then I have what I call the river, which is higher moving averages on a couple other charts. From the 10 to the 10 to the 20 and the 30 to the 50, to see whether or not the river is narrowing. So whether or not we're getting some consolidation, and then an opportunity for a breakout on a higher time frame. Let me just see here. So I trade, my setup is looking for a break, a pullback to the 10, a close above the 10 if I'm going short, and then a close below the 10, and then the following candle is my my entry on a 5-minute candle. The other trade that I take, and if I can, is the inside bar. I prefer to take a inside bar that is colored the same as the direction of trend, and only when it breaks. So for an example, I am any one of this. Here's an inside bar here where there was a pullback. I have an inside bar. Let me make it a little bit bigger so I can see it. All right. Here's an inside bar. So I would look for a break of this inside bar to go short now. So here's an inside bar here. The bulls are in control on this candle, so this would be a tougher trade for me to take, but I would take it when the when this candle here had broke below this inside bar, and I would take it down to, I would look for how much room I have to the next big number, or look in the past and how much room I have to the next support and resistance level, or where I think it's going to stall, and then I get out at that point in time. So I have so let's flip through a couple of charts here and see what we can find. I am in one trade. I'm in the euro yen. I got in here at this break of this inside bar right here, short, and so my stop loss is set at this just above or just at the swing high here, 15 pips away, I believe. Oh, that's 20, so that's a little bit far, but I won't let it go that far. I'll keep an eye on it and keep a watch on it, and then my take profit from here is set at 15. Again, when it gets close to it, if I see some stalling, I'll probably exit around 119.561 area, which is, it's still 8 pips, so, or I might exit even right here where I have a little bit more consolidation. I've had a lot of candles come down the stop here, so, and that's so I'll keep I have an automatic take profit set, but I'll keep an eye on it and flip when I'm flipping through my pairs, and I'll say, okay, will it break here by looking at is my fan opening up? Will it break here? And continue to move, or just take the money and run. Pardon me, I am unfortunately catching a little bit of a bug I got from my kids this weekend, so I probably sound a little bit raspy, and I apologize for that. All right. Anybody have any quick questions with regards to how I trade? Don't be afraid to open up your mic and ask.
Hi Dave, could you tell us a bit more about how you use your river and things, and what you're looking for in the larger time frames to confirm or not take a trade?
Yeah, sure. So on the river, let me pull another chart over here for a minute. Just to bear with me a half a second here. So let me just pull this chart over, and I'm going to maximize it here. I have multitudes of monitors. Oops, wrong one. This one here. So so primarily what I'm looking for in the river, so this is a 1 hour chart. This is looking a little bit messy at the moment. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for my moving averages on the river to squeeze together, come to a point where there was a pullback and consolidation. So if you look into this area right here at the moment, this is going back in time, so it's a lot easier for me to look at it at this point. I've had the river, my main moving averages are still all pointing downwards, but what's happened is the river's gotten tight, or all the moving averages have come closer together. So that's telling me that over here there's been some consolidation somewhere just in the recent past. There's been some serious consolidation, and therefore I'm looking for a breakout of that consolidation. So here I would have the breakout of that consolidation. So this would be the breakout, and I've got a pullback here. So this would be my entry into the river, saying that I could stay in this trade for 25 pips. So I could go from zone to zone, and I really consider zones to be anywhere between 25, 35, and 50 pips. So theoretically, when I've explained this to a lot of people in different ways, but the easiest analogy I can use is the Walmarts of the world, or superstores that from whatever countries you guys are in. The mentality of people is that they'll buy something if it's at 24 cents instead of buying it at 26. They'll buy it at 49 cents. They'll buy it at 98 cents. But once it gets past a certain level, they have to think a little bit more about it. So it's a psychology level. The big numbers, the 25, 50, 75, and zeros are all psychology levels, and you can plot those levels on your charts and go back, in time, and you'll find that you'll always see some consolidation there. The major parts of your consolidation will always be around those levels. And so what I'm looking for is the river to open up and give me the opportunity to go short on this EJ as an example. So I've got a wide river here, and so I'm looking for this river to give me an inside bar, which I've had quite a few of them in here, to trade short. And this is a 1 hour chart. So I'll look at an inside or an outside bar here, and then I'll look at my shorter time frame. And in that shorter time frame, I'll look for a positive entry signal. I like to make sure that at least 3 of my time frames out of the 5 that I watch. So I watch the 5 minute, I trade the 5 minute, I watch the 15, the 30, the hour, and the 4 hour. I'd like to make sure that at least 3 of those 4 or 5 are in sync in the same direction. And if I'm looking at a trade example on this 1 hour here, if I see that there's room to move to the bottom here, and that's why I've taken this trade, is there's room for me to come down to this swing low. There's at least another 6 pips to that swing low. If there was a lot of hammering of consolidation on a 1 hour or bigger, and I got a signal right down here at the very bottom of this, I likely wouldn't take the trade, because it's likely going to reverse and turn around and go the other direction on me. So that means I've got to be patient, sit in the trade, and that's just not how I like to trade. So did I do a good enough job there, Adam? I hope I did.
It's very useful. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just pull this back over to my other chart here. Get it out of the way. Let me pull this down. There we go. All right, so I still haven't, I'm waffling on this trade here. So I've been in this trade for 10, 20, 30 minutes. Whenever I'm going to allow my stop loss I'm going to honor my stop loss level. Well, actually, I'm going to pull it down a little bit, because this trade's not working the way I'd like it to work. It's taking a lot longer than I'm expecting it to. So once it goes into profit, I'll take 1 pip, 2 pips. I'll just get away from my the trade, because it's obviously floating around in consolidation. And you know what? I'm going to switch these 2 charts up here. I'm going to pull this one over here, because this, and I'm going to bring that other one back, because it's a lot easier to follow. Let me just slide that guy down there. And then I'll just change this to all right, there we are. All right, so now on this one here, if also in this trade, I'll take a loss because I see that I've got a pullback here. So if I get a loss that comes up and the candle breaks above the 50 here, or comes towards the 75, because that's probably where it's heading at this moment, is towards the 75. I'll close the trade early. I won't sit and take a 15-20 pip stop loss. It just even though I have a emergency stop loss in place, I don't always allow it to go all the way to that to the stop loss, because I'll see if I got consolidation or a breakout happening in the opposite direction. So I'll manage that trade in that direction, in that sense. So let's continue on here. Let's see if there's any other trades that we can get ourselves into here. All right, so we had an inside bar here at the 25. On the AU, the market is down on the AU. There is a pullback happening, so it's not a trade that I'm interested in. I'll wait for a signal candle to break below this 10 and below the 25 to take that trade, because I'll measure to the 25. There's only 2 pips to the 25, so and I've got and my spread is 0.4, 0.5, so it's I'm just not interested in that, looking at that trade at the moment. We already did the EJ. What happened here? There we are. Oops. I'm just gonna muck around with my chart here for 2 seconds more. Apologize. All right. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions are important. Did you all hear my? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's all good about the kiddo. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'm probably not going to read the chat as much, so if somebody's got a question and they just want to open up their mic and ask it, that would be more interactive for me. And so looking at this EU, it looks like we're getting a potential setup to go short. We're bouncing off the 75. We'll get a signal in here. We've got an inside bar here. Now we are also just coming up to the top of the hour, so we'll see what's going to transpire here.
Dave, I've got a question to ask you.
Yeah, good morning. Hi, Glenn. How are
you? Good. So you got like the 5-minute chart, and you got the 15-minute wave chart.
Yeah.
My question is how do you define the correlation between the 5 and 15-minute charts?
Well, on the 15, what I'm looking for is the expansion of the wave itself, and I'm also looking for an inside bar alert, and then I'll go to the 5-minute and I'll trade it based on that. So I could see here on the 15-minute that my river is opening up wider here, and that's primarily based on this candle here. So there's going to be a bit of a pullback. But if I get an inside bar in here, I alert on the 15-minute, and I actually have an inside bar on the 5-minute here. I'll take this breakout of this this inside bar once it breaks this zone right here. So hopefully we'll get a signal here in a second to do that. I just looking to make sure that the correlation in the trend, that I'm not getting a massive pullback on a higher time frame where I might have other areas of resistance. I don't know if I answered your question or not. Hopefully I did.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just like, I'm looking at the, did I look at your, I look at the waves and I look at the moving averages.
Yeah.
And the waves are moving averages, and then I look at the correlation between the waves and the EMAs on the 5-minute chart. Is that right? Or...
Yes. They're all the EMAs, correct. So I have an inside bar here on my 15-minute. Now the inside bar, the bulls are in control on this inside bar, so there is more of a chance of an upward pull here. I am bouncing off the 75. I'm going to take this trade there. I just took it, so because it broke, and I'm going to set my take profit at just above the 50. Now the likelihood of this going all the way down to the 75, or sorry, the 25, is pretty good. But when I'm looking at a higher time frame, I've got on the I've got some pretty big consolidation happening on the 1 hour. So it could be a while sitting in this trade, and I don't like that, so I don't really want to. Oops, what's going on with this? So I don't like to sit, like me personally, if I'm up $50 or 5 pips, I would prefer to put that money in my pocket than I would be to sit there and say, okay, it's up $50, it's down $100, it's up, $60, it's down $50, it's up $150, it's down $500. To me, emotionally, that's more of an emotional roller coaster than saying, oh, it's up $50, get out. It's up 5 pips, get out. It's up 10 pips, get out. To me, that's less of an emotional roller coaster than it is to sit there and watch a trade. Now, I guess I could turn around and put a smaller dollar value on, but I have a set goal that I try to achieve every month. I have a set pip value I try to achieve every month, and that's 500 pips minimum is my goal. I do have rules. Rules are, if I have 3 losing trades in a day, it doesn't matter if I have 50 winning trades. If I have 3 losing trades in a day, I'm done for the day. If I get 1/3 my goal for the week in a day, or 1/3 my goal for the month in a day, I'm done for the day. I don't like to overtrade. I will still look at the charts, and yesterday there was a whole whack of trades that I wanted to trade, but I had made 117 pips, I think, 111 or something of that nature, and I had exceeded what I expected, but um, I didn't want to trade anymore. I didn't want to overtrade, so I said, no, I'm not taking any more trades. And there was some really nice trades just after New York Open, but I was already done, and so you can't overtrade because it's just becomes it becomes a greed factor. So New Zealand dollar here, we're going to get a potential setup to go short on the New Zealand dollar. We've got, oops, I got to move this out of my way. We got another 4 seconds on this candle to give me an entry to go short. There it is there, and there's my short signal. Once this breaks, the bid and the ask price break, I will sell that. So let's go. Now, the
you said when the bid and the ask price breaks, so you're after the bid price to break first or the ask?
Well, it'll be the bid price, right? So basically, I want to make sure. So I just got to concentrate on it for half a second there. I'm going to go back to my EJ because this is pulling back. I'll come back to this in a second here. So my EJ is in profit, and I've been in that trade forever. So I don't want to be in that trade anymore. And of course now it knew I was coming over to it. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna go back to that. Yeah, it heard me coming. I should have just closed it. I was up a pip and a half, 2 pips. I'm now at just a break even. So I'll get out of this trade. I just don't want to be in it any longer.
Wanted to see new kind of, well, not new kind of, but different styles of trading. Because like you said, you have been in EJ forever, and what you say, you have been in maybe 30 minutes on that, and for me 30 minutes is at least the minimum for that trade. For my trades, I usually keep them from many confirmations comes when London opens, and I usually, when I take them, I hold them till the New York opens, and sometimes even longer.
Yeah, well, I mean, and everybody's a different kind of trader, plain and simple. Everybody trades different. Everybody, everybody has different tolerances. I guess if if I traded a smaller lot size than I trade, then I would probably feel the same way. So I've got 1.5 on that EJ, and I just closed it. So let me just pull that EJ up now, and I'll pull.
Yeah, I traded binary before, and it was like usually I took like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes trades, but when I came back to Forex, well, first I did trade stocks, penny stocks, but they was way too volatile for me. And but it was nice to see someday that the stock did grow like 700% or something like that. But it was way too volatile and risky for me. So I came back to Forex, and I tried to trade small time frames, but that was not for me.
So I gotta take a couple of trades off the table here. So right now I've got the pound dollar short, just so that you guys can see. The New Zealand dollar, I'm up 5.5 on it. To me, $54 for 2 minutes, I'm out. My pound dollar, I had $50 on there. Now I'm down at $25, so two and a half pips, because I trade a full lot. So I can sit here and I can look, and I'm looking at a higher time frame. Likelihood it's going to go down to the 50 is there. I'm in profit. Why chance? Why chance taking having it pull back and go all the way back up to the daily open, or money in my hand is better than in somebody else's. So and it looks like it's waffling right now around this this area. So like, see my hesitation. I don't want to hesitate. Since since I started those two trades, I'm up 9 pips. I got 4 on that one, 5 on the New Zealand dollar, and 1 on the EJ. Now the EJ did end up going further down, but the market is so, in my opinion, the market is so can be so, it's emotional. So if people are, it's very emotional. So therefore, people will do weird things, and you could be sitting there in profit up 5 or 6 pips, and then all of a sudden somebody decides they don't like what it's doing, and some big player or money maker or something like that ends up selling off the euro, and next thing you know, it spikes, and instead of you making your $500 for the day or your $50 for the day, depending on whatever your account size is, you're giving money back to the market. You're like, to me, that just doesn't equate as a good business model. Now, again, I'm not knocking anybody for however the whatever comfortable way that they trade. It's just, that's my mentality, saying, take the money and run. All right.
I understand you totally, because
right.
It was really hard for me first to see, like, I was 80 pips up, and then we trade for 20 pips. I was like screaming, no, 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 but then it did go back up for 40 pips, and so on.
Yeah,
so
but you don't know that. You don't know that. All right. Okay? I have a signal candle here on the AU. So now the whole point, the beauty of how, as a scalper, when you can get in and you got a good market, and the way the market's moving, and you can get in and you can get out, and you can get in and you can get out, your risk becomes extremely zero. Like, it just becomes, there's no risk. All right. Yeah, you can sit there and say, oh man, if I'd only taken if I had only sat on that longer, I could have had my 3 or 4 or 500 pips. Well, if I know that if I stop trading this very second, and I've been here, I know if I stop trading this very second, I made money, and I can go about my daily business and know that I don't have to come back to a screen. I don't have to say, okay, did I make money today? Did I lose money today? It's a comfort level for me as a trader. So like your emotion there, saying that you were up 50 pips and then you went down to 20 pip, minus 20. $500, if you look at it a full lot size, $500 versus giving back $200, because it could have kept going. It could have. You don't know. We only speculate. So to speculate to me on a micro time frame based on patterns and based on moving averages or based on even naked charts and support and resistance, to me that makes a lot more sense personally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I trade higher time frames, because I have always been interested about scalping, but that's why I trade higher time frames, so I can cut all the noises in the market.
Well, I got to honestly, scalping is not for everybody. Scalping is can be a very, very hard. Well, it is. It's a very, very hard thing to do. You know, like a lot of people don't scalp. A lot of people. You're absolutely correct. So.
Okay, but I just wanted to fill everyone. We had a meeting with France over the Napoleon system. So we're officially going to look into it deeply. So yeah, I've got some positive news there. So I was quite impressed with what I got shown this morning, and yeah, I would like to show you this other system, this Napoleon system that Franco developed for MT4. Yeah.
That's Franco out of Montreal.
Franco out of London.
Oh, out of London. Yeah, there's a Franco in Montreal, Canada as well. He's a big trader as well. But yeah, if you want to, I'd love to see it.
I'll wait till it develops first and wait to see if I can master it and all the rest of it. But yeah, I was quite encouraged about this actual system, how much work he's put into it, and yeah, it was good news, to be honest. So yeah.
All right, I took a trade on the Aussie dollar to go short. Bounced off the 25. There's an inside bar and a signal bar. So you know, I'm in that trade. I just took it just now. What the heck? Pardon me. Let's go back to that Aussie dollar for a second. And it's going to hit my take profit, which is a swing low. Likelihood of a little bit of a pullback here, so I'm going to just take the 3 pips and be happy with it. So I got 3.5 on it right now. You know, I'm happy with that. And then we move on to the next trade, see what's out there. The beauty of scalping on a 5-minute chart is there are 50 opportunities, you know, every hour. There's so many opportunities, you know, to get in and get out of a trade. I reduced my pairs here this, I guess it was yesterday, I started working on reducing the pairs. Was analyzing all the pairs that I don't trade or I do, you know, that I have on here, and a lot of them I didn't, I might have taken 1 or 2 trades in the whole course of the month. Okay, I did want to take this you, Chef, but I was concerned about the big number, and when I had looked at it, there was only 2.5 pips to get into it, and the spread's waffling between half a pip and 1 pip, so I didn't end up taking it. It's also at a, it's at an extreme high, so there's a likelihood chance that it's going to have a bit of a, a pullback or a breakthrough and then a retest and then a continuation. But let's just move this to, so and on a 4-hour, I've just broken through the cloud, so there's opportunity here, but there's a lot of consolidation and a lot of resistance on at 117 on here. So and to where I am now, that's still 15 pips away. So you just have to understand what you're willing to risk, and where there might be on a higher time frame some resistance, and whether or not there's enough room for you to take that trade, take that opportunity. So which was the one I just took here? What was the AU? I'll pull that on there. All right, so there was my trade on the AU that I took. There's my entry. There's my take profit and stop loss, and as you see that it's waffling. It's coming to a on a 4-hour. There's still lots of room to the downside. Well, actually, there isn't. There's only 13 pips to the downside before it hits some support. So I'm happy to be out of that trade instead of sitting on it and saying, well, maybe it's going to go down that extra 13 pips, or maybe this is its exhaustion and its point of returning and going north. They say a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. So okay, I don't know if anybody, is it people still here?
Sebastian, are you there?
Pardon me?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Sebastian. How are you?
I'm fine, and you, Glenn?
Good, man. Good.
Hey, Dave, I have a question.
Oh no, you asked all the questions you asked her yesterday. You're done. You're done.
I know.
No, go ahead.
No, I was wondering what's the name of your platform, because it looks like MT4, but it's not.
Yeah, it is MT4.
Okay.
I'm with Pepperstone. I've just cleaned up. Yeah, so no, it is. I have my charts with my program. I'm able to undock my I'm able to undock my charts and move them onto another screen so that I only have one instance of MT4 running. And it doesn't have all of the, it doesn't keep the file and the view and the insert and the chart toolbar up at the very top here on the pairs. So I've cleaned them all up so that I don't have to waste that real estate. So because in MT4 you can get rid of all of that stuff. So yeah. So no, this is with Pepperstone. It's
this is provided by Pepperstone.
Pardon me?
I mean, it's Pepperstone who made this platform. It's not something that you build yourself.
Well, no, this is just a regular MT4, but I have my own indicators.
Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah, I prefer Pepperstone over a lot of brokers. I also don't believe a broker is a bank. So I'll make my my weekly money and I'll take it out every week. I take out my money. So
many traders use multiple brokers, and that is one of their money management styles. So if one broker scams their money, they still have in other brokers, and of course withdrawing regularly.
Well, you're going to run into that no matter what. No matter what, you're going to run into that. People are people. Companies are going to try to do what's best for them, and obviously we just got to try and stay out of the politics of all of it and just trade. To me
that's important to know if you've tried ETX before. Like, I know you've tried a lot of brokers, Dave. I just want to know if you've tried ETX. That's all.
I have not. No.
Okay.
I've tried. I've tried FXCM. Yeah. I don't have any money left in there. I do have a couple other accounts. I have with other brokers, but they're so small, and I don't really even.
Have you tried Orlando? Orlando are a little bit different, but they do come with a guarantee. So, and they are quite expensive for scalping.
They are expensive for scalping. You're right, and I have Owanda is because it's has an office in Canada. I have to. I would have to abide by their. And they follow the same regulations that the U.S. Most of the same regulations that the U.S. does. So, again, the good thing about being a scalper is, you do want to have the ability to have the higher leverage, because you just want to get in and get out. So, having a nice, reasonable, 200 to 400 leverage is reasonable. You get, well, 400 is a little high, but you get up inwards of, some of these guys like Iron FX and a couple of these other big guys that have 1,000 to 1. That's Hot FX or something like that. That to me is there's going to be manipulation there. Because they're just there's not enough people on both sides of the market to handle that kind of money. That's basically basically doing binary options again, and you know, and
Well, I spoke
good
to-
luck getting paid. You know.
Well, Franco's pushed the brokers to the limit, you know what I mean, because what he's designed, and like he's put $1 billion, like when he's trading that he's made $1 billion in an hour, which is pretty much testing him, you know what I mean, and his recommendation was this ATX, so I'll be looking into it. But,
well, I'll take a look at them too. I mean, but the thing is that, you know, I've been trading the same broker for 5.5 years now.
yeah, you don't want to change, yeah.
You know, I've tried other ones. You know, I can't. You know, people have got, you know, there's always two sides to a coin. There's always somebody has a different story with regards to even Pepperstone, that they, you know, they feel wronged in some way, shape, or form. But I can honestly say, for me, I feel safe where my money is. I know that if I'm going to on Wednesday, I'm going to request for my money to come to me on Friday. It will be there on Friday, and not that I'm going to have some you traded something wrong, or you did something wrong, or you know, like I've never had to worry about taking my money out ever. And that says a lot. You know, that's pretty much says it all. You know, like, you know, we're not here to just entertain. We're here to make money. You know, whether you're a long-term trader or a scalper, your whole being for being here is to try and get ahead and make money. So if you can't trust your broker, then you're fighting an upstream battle. So I'm, you know, more than happy with my broker. So anyways, that's enough about plugging them.
I was devastated to hear what FXCM got up to in America. I was absolutely devastated. So I can assure you that you know, it's areas of great concerns now. But you know,
I have friends that have money in there, and I don't know if they're ever going to get it back.
Dave and Glenn, it's Dave and Glenn. If I can have a say, I've been with FXCM in Australia for about probably about 10 years now. Probably the whole length of the time that I've been trading. I've had no problems with them whatsoever here in Australia. And as you're saying, Dave, you know, it all comes down to, I think you really need to get to the situation where you really trust your broker, and you feel at ease that you know, when you ask for a withdrawal. And I do the same thing. Basically, nearly every Monday, I submit a withdrawal, and I take my excess funds, you know, basically out of my account and put them straight into my self-managed super fund. The reason being is, I think all said and done, you know, it doesn't matter how big, you know, the brokers are, or you know, the smaller ones to a certain extent. I think you should have you should be worried about it. FXCM, I know what's happened with them in the States, you know, doesn't go well, but here in Australia, I've had no problems with them, and every week when I put my withdrawal in, you know, I get my money back into my account. I've had no problems with them whatsoever here in Australia whatsoever at all. So I really think that you need to, you know, be comfortable in, you know, whatever broker that you invest your money in. And as you were saying, Dave, you know, we're here to make it a living. You know, and if you can't get your money back from the brokers, it's pointless, you know, even trying to trade, because all said and done, you know, you hear all these stories, you know, trading binary options, and there's, you know, a big investigation into all these binary brokers, you know, and a lot of them are basically based, you know, in Israel. you try to get your money out of you try getting your money out of a broker where you're trading binary options, and I think you'll find that you'll have problems. Any broker, that you have problems, withdrawing your funds, you should stay clear from them. And the thing is, it comes down to, you can't get sucked into, and having all your funds basically in one broker, because when the time comes that you need to get your money, if you can't get it out, all said and done, you've been trading, and all the profits that you've been making, if you can't get it out, it adds up to nothing.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Exactly. So, you really need to be, totally, safe and happy with the broker that you got. Otherwise, if there's any shady business, whatever, if there's any like questioning on why you're withdrawing your money from the broker, that's a warning sign that you need to move on to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I appreciate that, and I'm not knocking FXCM. That's not the let's beat up on them, because I know that other arms of other businesses all have problems. Okay, well, I mean, you can take President Trump there for an example. We could look at how many times he's been bankrupt. Okay, just when he was going into, just when he was going in for on his election, everything, just before election day, and Trump Towers in Canada went bankrupt. And everybody's like, well, here he is, he's running for president and he's going bankrupt again. And well, no, you have to read the fine print. It's Trump Towers. He just lent his name to it. He got paid to put his name on it, for the hype, and therefore it's not him going bankrupt there. Even though he did go bankrupt quite a few times. Everybody's saying, oh, here we are. You have to know the story. So when it comes to FXCM, it's the same thing. You have to know the story. You have to know what the reason is behind what happened. And if you don't,
exactly,
we can sit here and speculate till the cows come home. I'm happy with I'm happy with my broker. And until the day comes where I get a notice saying, sorry, you have to wait a week to get your money. When that day comes, that'll probably be the last time I trade that broker.
Exactly.
And it's not one of those, well, I'll give you a second chance. It's like, this is my money. I've put it in there, and I'm trading it. I'm the one making the money off it. It's my living. So I need to make sure that I'm I'm secure within it, and that goes for any broker, and it doesn't matter if it's $50, $50,000, $500,000. It doesn't matter. If you get any qualm or thought of that you're never going to get your money or you're going to have a hard time getting it, get it the hell out. Now, talking about money management for half a second, because that's a whole aspect that a lot of people never ever talk on. It's a lot of people will put $5,000 into a trading account, and they'll say, okay, well, when it gets to $50,000, I'll maybe keep it growing. I'll get it up to 100,000. Or what you need to do.
No, I don't agree with that.
I don't either. But in my opinion, what you need to do is you need to pay yourself every week. So you got $5,000
Exactly.
account. You got a $5,000 account. You pay yourself. You made 2%. You take 50% of that 2% out. And then what you're doing there, and you do that every week. And what happens there by you doing that is what you're doing is you're limiting your exposure of your capital.
Exactly.
Of your capital.
100% correct. What you're saying.
So you should always, you should do up a chart and say, okay, if I made even if it's pittance, you know, so I made $50 this week. I'm putting in a request to take out $25. Well, that's $25 less of your capital that you're
going to give back to them.
That you're going to give back to them if something happens. You know, and
I totally agree with that, Dave.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just build it. You know, okay, well, I've doubled my account. Well, let's try and do that again. No, you need to pay yourself every day. You go to work. If you have a job, you go to work, or if you own your own business, you go to work to pay yourself. This is no different. You know, so you put a percentage of it into a super portfolio, long-term portfolio. You take a percentage of it to pay your bills. You take a percentage of it for your beer fund or your Saturday night out fund. You have to do that, because if you don't, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, I just put 5,000 in and I've made 50,000, and then the broker turns around and says, yeah, I had to close my doors. You might get your initial investment back. You might, but more than likely you won't. So, and I've been down this road. It's all relative. It is.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, what you're saying is 100%. And I mean, to say you hear a lot of the guys in the room saying, I've started with a $5,000 account and I've built it up to 100,000. Now, all said and done, if you haven't taken, you've been a great trader and you've traded from 5,000, and you've made your account 20 times bigger to $100,000. But all said and done, if you haven't put anything in your pocket, you've made nothing, because the day comes, as you said, the broker, something goes wrong with the broker. You have a Swiss bank event, and basically, what's the name, and you're over leveraged or whatever. And the thing is, once you get to a point where you've got, a huge amount of money sitting like offshore, in some broker's account, it's not your money until it's actually in your account. If you can't get the money in your account, you've made nothing. You've been a great trader, but you haven't been smart enough to actually, put the money in your bank account.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. If you don't get the money out of the broker's account into your account, it's not your money.
Yeah, because you can't spend it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's like I'm a self-funded trader, and I'm going to say, if I don't get my money, as you're saying, into my account, on a weekly basis or fortnightly basis, as you said, how do you live? How do you pay your bills? I mean, to say, it's all relative. If your money management says 1% or 2%, okay, you put a bigger position in because you've got a bigger account. But all said and done, it doesn't really matter until you actually get the money into your own account. That's when you're a profitable and successful trader, when the money is in your account. It's no good, you're beating your chest and patting yourself on the back and say, well, I'm a great trader. Let's say, I've started with, $5,000 and now I've got $250,000. It's not, if you haven't got it in your account, you've got $250,000. You got nothing.
Yeah, you got $250,000. You have $250,000 of risk stock somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally true. And I'm going to say that's what traders need to be successful. Apart from being able to win the money out of the market, you have to win the money and put it in your pocket. You need to get the money away from the broker and into your own account. Otherwise, it's not your money. Bottom line.
Right. All right. Well, that's a big topic, and it's a topic that rarely gets touched on by a lot of people. This EJ, we have an inside bar to the short. It's above all my moving averages. I'm just going to go back to looking at some trades here for a few minutes. So I'm not going to take it. I'll wait till it's it's below the moving averages. Now you see here, here's an example of that trade that I took, that I sat in, that first trade that I sat in for, was it 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 minutes. I drew this line, it come down, it hit all of this bottom of this consolidation, and then it turned around and went back up. Now if I was still sitting in that trade, you know, I could have made 45, but I would be down, as of the moment, I would be down 40, you know, 47 pips, or sorry, 5 pips. So I would be, you know, so I was happy to get out of it. If I'd have stayed in this one candle a little bit longer, yeah, it would have hit that the target that I drew there. However, I was happy to take my 1.5 pips and put the money in my account, so that tomorrow I can, because tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow I can submit my request for my profits. So we're looking at so the EJ there, you know, we're looking for it. It's done a retracement here, so we're looking for this pullback to get exhausted to give us another signal. It might go back up to the 75, bounce off of it again, just like it did here already. Primarily, it came right up to the 75 and it stopped at the 75, and it's going back down. It could trade between 75 and 50 for quite a while, or it could go between 75 and zeros for a while, but it will, you know, well, we obviously know it's going to go one way.
You see any trade on UJ at all?
Let's go to UJ. Yeah. If you guys see something, then you want me to move over to it, and it's one of the pairs that I have here. Okay, so I have an inside bar here.
Dave, just 1 second. I've lost your charts. All I've got is a blank screen at the moment. Dave's meeting.
Oh, is everybody the same?
No, I can see. I can see.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's probably my end. I'll probably log out and re-log in and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So on this UJ, we have an inside bar. We have 2 inside bars. We're right now in the wiggle, which is the last 45 minutes of the hour for a top of the hour trade. We bounced off we broke through the 25. We're coming back to the 25. This blue inside bar, if it had broken, it would have been a good trade to go long. However, the swing high is only 2.5 pips away, and by looking at my 15-minute chart, I'm right at the 200, which the 200 to me is a major support or a major resistance trend line. You know, so it's, as you can see here, it's kind of just waffling on the 15-minute right at that 200. So I would be leery to take a long because we're going into no man's land up here. You know, so, and on a higher time frame, you know, the 1 hour, we're actually we've got a significant pullback on the 1 hour to and we're actually coming into a resistance, a huge resistance at 1238.5 level, which is 1238.5, which is right here. So if we look at, you know, we're only looking to maybe make 4 or 5 pips before it hits that resistance. To me, it's not a riskable trade at this point. Plus, the signal hasn't actually even given me the opportunity to do it. I would look for a pullback below the 10 and a bounce off the 25 level. And then a break to go north again and see, and then I would reassess it to see whether or not I had room to go at least 10 pips before I hit that resistance. How did I do there? Analyze that okay?
Yeah, no, it's like I double inside bar. That's
Well, a double inside bar is telling me there's a lot of consolidation going on. Nobody really has made a distinct direction, and the bulls are in charge on one and the bears are in charge on the other. So that's, again, then I'm looking at the 15-minute, and if I change this to a 1 hour for a second here and I look at it, that level that I was talking about, it's right there. So I'm looking at, so to me it's important to have a number of charts open, because if I had taken this trade down here where I knew that there was room to go up, 10 pips, 20 pips to, because to me this is a pretty big level. It was hit. There's 1, 2 times it came down to it, 3, 4, 5, come back down to it, 6, come up to it, 7, 8, 9 times. In the last 24 hours, 27 hours. So it's telling you something. It's telling you that there's, the bears don't want it to go any higher at this point, and they're gonna do what they can to stop it. So it needs to break this. We did get a breakout here on this 15-minute, but it now needs to pull back, and it needs to, give me the answer that it's broke through that zone of trading. So that would have been a if I had taken it, it would have been 5 pips. But again, we're up into no man's land, so I would rather wait for a pullback, because there's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of trades when you're looking at a 5-minute chart, and you want to make sure that you try to analyze the best ones so that you don't get your 3 losses in the day. You don't get any losses if you analyze it properly. Your likelihood of getting stung are pretty low. However, also by stating that, you got to also know that what your threshold is to get out, and don't even think about it, because you can always trade another day. You can always trade another hour. You can, so I won't probably take, unless there's an inside bar here on the M5, I won't take any trades in this. If I get a signal from this candle to the top of the hour, I won't take it. I'll wait to see what the top of the hour candle is going to do, so and where it's at. But if it's an inside bar in direction of trend, I will take that trade in what I call the top of the hour trade. Lost my charts. Somebody just said lost. Did Dave? Oh, was that you that said that, Glenn? Oh no, Adam said it. On the. Sorry, you've got to because I really am not trying to. I don't want to get into doing all this reading. I'd rather concentrate on the charts. So if you guys got a question and you got a mic, please don't don't be afraid to ask the question.
That was me, Dave, I think, previously.
Oh, for the inside bar?
No, who posted lost the charts.
Yeah, no, I think Adam also posted there was an inside bar on the AU there. So
Yeah, I was going to actually say something, but it was in the middle of talking about the sort of brokerages and accounts, so I thought I'd just put it there to flag it up.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have.
All right. So you said it was on the AU. I don't have an inside bar on the AU on the M5.
That was you, Jay.
Oh, UJ. Sorry.
Now talked about.
We've now talked about it. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. So if there was an inside bar that was happening inside this candle and the next candle, and it was a bullish inside bar, and I saw there was opportunity to a swing high or to another level, I would I wouldn't even hesitate. I think I showed that to somebody yesterday as well. There's a couple of guys that I spent some time with. And, you know, it's just the inside bar. If that's the only trade you ever take is the inside bar. The inside bar is a phenomenal trade. As long as you know, as long as it's with the trend and whoever's in charge on that candle. So you're looking at candle, you know, you're looking at the candle history and saying, okay, were the bulls in charge on that inside bar, or were the bears in charge on that inside bar? Is the market bullish or bearish? Was there a bigger wick than there was body? You know, so you are reading that. You know, you're trying to read what the market is doing at that very moment. But again, it's one of those things where you just got to get in, take your 5 pips and get out. You know, take your 3, take your 4, take your 5. Okay, so here I have an inside bar on this UCAD. Sorry, on this EU to go short, but the bulls are in charge on that inside bar. So that, to me, that's not a very comfortable trade. You see this inside bar here, the bulls were in charge. 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 So those inside bars, I wouldn't trade them. The bear was in charge here. This inside bar, boom, it was red. Bears were in charge. Boom, down it went. You know, like, I mean, if all you trade is inside bars, you will do well in the direction of the trend on that inside bar, as long as it's and I've studied them for years, and I've sat and did analysis, and the inside bar with trend and with the trend in charge, so if it's a bearish market and it's a bearish inside bar, it's an 85 to 95% trade almost every single time. You just can't go wrong with it. You just, like, I mean, unless, because I had somebody post me a picture yesterday, so, well, there was something wrong with this inside bar, and the guy did an inside bar on and he took a hit on a trade. He took a buy, and it was supposed to be a you know, and the market was going up, but he didn't look at the 1 hour chart to say that he was at the top of a zone, and he's like, well, I got stopped out. You know, you said it was a bullish, you know, a bullish inside bar, and I said, yeah, but it's a bearish market. You know, so don't do it. You know, you got to know what the market's doing. You know. All right, let's just carry on here. Any other questions? Lost your charts. Okay, that's all right. So we're coming up to the top of the hour here. I'm going to take. Let's see if there's any trades to take off the top of the hour trade. and then I'm going to probably pause for 5 minutes and refresh my coffee. So I have an inside bar break here on the U-Chef to go long. So I got to quickly look at it and say, okay, I can go. My maximum I'm going to get on this is 3 pips. I have a significant pullback on the 4-hour breakthrough on the cloud. It is a downward market on a 4-hour, but the last 12 hours have been upward, have been along. There is opportunity here, but it doesn't look comfortable for me, so I'm not going to take it. So that's how quickly you have to do your analysis when you're looking at when you're scalping. You've got to look at it quick, make a judgment call, and be happy with it. Be satisfied that that's the call that you made, because I have nothing there. I have another inside bar, so basically I'm going into consolidation here, and that's all based on looking at a 1 hour and a 4-hour chart that tells me that there's a lot of resistance at that level. So do I want to sit in a trade forever? No. Oh, somebody said something, sorry. All right, so let's just take a quick look to see if there's any other opportunities here, and then I'm going to pause for a couple of minutes, grab a drink, and come back.
Dave, I have a question for you. It's off topic.
It's off topic?
Yeah.
It wasn't me, and I didn't do it, and don't name it after me.
Why on earth you don't use cheese slicer in Canada?
We don't use what?
Cheese slicer. My friend moved from Finland to there, and he tried to find in every mall and every shop cheese slicer, and he couldn't find. He asked from the guy who rented the house how you cut the cheese in Canada.
Oh. well, we have another.
That's a business idea.
I have no idea. I guess there's some market there for it, and there's many ways of cutting cheese, right?
Yeah, it's a million business in Finland.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a. I love cheese, but I'm not a connoisseur of cheese slicers, so I can't answer that question. I'm sure in some European areas in the major cities, they probably do have them. So, maybe that's what he's got to do. I don't know where he's located. So, and then you got eBay. eBay, you've got, so he can always order it, or you could be a really good friend and send him 10 of them so he can sell them.
Yeah, he ordered for himself from online a cheese slicer.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna take a couple of minutes here. I don't see any massive opportunities at the moment yet. So I'm gonna take a couple of minutes. If when I come back, if somebody else wants to share their screen or share their show their wares, I'm more than happy to make them a presenter. Glenn. So if Glenn, if you're hearing me, if you want to show off Franco's stuff there.
Yeah, I haven't really got anything to show off yet, but
right.
when I when I get the new system up and going, I will.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see it and test it and play with it. You know, I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I go. Franco's in Italy.
Skiing.
To skiing till May. I did speak to him in the middle of the Alps while he was skiing this morning. But I'll say this, that I was pretty taken aback by some of the work he's done. I just hope it works. Hopes that I can adapt to the system, and hopefully I can become the system. You know
Yeah. Well, that being said, it's so hard to do that because I've over the past 5 years, 6 years of doing webinars and helping people, I've probably had a couple thousand people go through my rooms and through my chats and through my webinars, and
yeah. Well, scalping's not for everyone, and you know, yeah, like, am I a pro trader? You know, like, I should be able to do both, right? I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just my thing. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
See if I can adapt.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, hopefully this is being entertaining and educational for you guys. But I'm going to take a 5. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm going to take a couple of minute break here. So. All right, I don't know if anybody can hear me or not. I don't know if I'm still connected or not. I might have to sign out and sign back in myself.